Kinematics means motion. Kinematics means motion. Motion means, let us consider, if we consider a line, this is a line. In this line, here we are considering 2 points, point A and point B. Point A and point B. Okay, if a person or object, if a person or object is moving from point A to point B, if this person is moving from point A to point B, then this is said to be the motion. This person is said to be in a motion, or just the here the person changes his position. Person change his position, म्हणजे त्या व्यक्तीने काय केली, त्याची पोझिशन चेंज केली पॉईंट ए पासून पॉईंट बी पर्यंत. जेव्हा whenever there is a change in position from point 1 to point B, point A to point B, then that time is said to be the, there is a change, something is changed, something is changed. Change is measured with the help of a particular physical quantity. This particular physical quantity is said to be the, what is this, is said to be the, not motion, is said to be the displacement. Therefore, in kinematics, first an important physical quantity is a displacement. It's denoted in the form of x. Okay. In case of the kinematics, the first important physical quantity is the displacement. Displacement means if a person changes position from point A to point B, or anything, that object, or this is a, suppose this is a ball and we have thrown this ball from this point A to point B. Here the ball take its position at point B. त्या बॉलने काय केलं, त्याची पोझिशन बी वर घेतली, त्याचा चेंज झाला, त्याची पोझिशन चेंज झाली ना फ्रॉम पॉईंट ए टू पॉईंट बी. दॅट टाइम इट इज सेड टू बी द चेंज इन डिस्प्लेसमेंट. चेंज इन डिस्प्लेसमेंट. अँड ऑन द स्केल हाऊ कॅन इट मेजर्ड? हिअर समजा आपण जर कन्सिडर केलं, तर आपण इथं जर कन्सिडर केलं तर समजा दिस इज वॉज अ x1. याला जर म्हटलं आपण, हे काय होतं x1 आणि हे काय होतं x2. Therefore, the change in length, how can you calculate the change in length? Here you can calculate the change in length is the form of delta x. Delta x, delta means change. This is called as the change. This is called as the change in length, will be the higher length minus lower length. Suppose this is a 5 centimeter and this is a 1 centimeter. Suppose the person was at a 1 centimeter. Person कुठं होता, 1 सेंटीमीटरला होता. Person was at a 1 centimeter, and after certain time of interval t, this person changes his position from point A to point B, and point B is at a 5 centimeter. Then how much is distance covered? 5 minus 1. Therefore, the change in displacement x equals to 5 centimeter minus 1 centimeter will be the 4 centimeter. Therefore, change in displacement is a 4 centimeter. Change in displacement is the 4 centimeter. And how much time is needed to travel from point A to point B is taken as a time. Is taken as a time. Also, there is a change in time. We need a change in time at time t1. T1 means, suppose at time 3.5, 3 वाजून 5 मिनिटांना, 3 वाजून 5 मिनिटांना घेतला आपण, तर 3 वाजून 5 मिनिटांना तो कुठं होता, इथं होता. किंवा आपण एक काम करू, मिनिट न घेता सोपं घेऊ, 3 वाजता तो 3 हवर्सला तो कुठं होता, ए पॉईंटला होता, आणि 4 हवर्सला कुठं गेला, T2ला गेला. 4 hours आणि हा हवर, तर त्याला किती टाइम लागला, आता कसा कळाल? दिस इज अ T2 minus T1. Here we will calculate, what we will calculate, T2 minus T1. Then how much time is needed to travel this point A to time B? 1 hour means 4 minus 3. It took 1 hour. Okay, therefore this is a time. Therefore, the second most important physical quantity in case of a kinematic is a time. Is a time, and this is denoted by small t. Right? The first most important is the displacement. Second most important is the time. Second most important is the time. Now we know that when, let us suppose that this person is running, and with a constant speed from point A to point B. This person is continuously running from point A to point B and with a constant speed. We will consider here constant speed. The term is speed is coming here. Speed. Okay. Now we have, in previous lecture or previous slide, we have studied what we studied. We have the displacement and time. We have the displacement and time. We have the displacement dx, and also we have the time. Therefore, we can take the ratio of, suppose if we take the ratio of, suppose here this person is at point x, this is x1, it is at a x1, and this is a x2. It took a time t1 to time t2. Therefore, the change in displacement is a delta x. This is a displacement, or this is called as a change in displacement or a displacement. Change is also the displacement, change in displacement. And we have the time. What is time? Delta t. If we take the ratio of delta x to delta t, then we get a speed or velocity. What we get? If we take the ratio of displacement to the time, then we get the velocity. But now, suppose the term is coming here, the velocity. Term is coming here, the velocity. Now, suppose this is a person. This person starts to walk. Just start to walk. Initially, this person was seated. The person was seated at a particular point. Suppose I am standing here. I just started to move forward. Then there are two velocities. First will be and after some time, this will be achieved a certain velocity. This person achieved a certain velocity after time t. Now at time t equals to 0. 0 means initial time, t1 time is a 0, and this is the time t2 at certain time t2. This person just start from 0. Okay, means we can say that this person just start. Initially this person was at a rest, and this is in a motion with a certain velocity. Now if the person start from rest, then it has also the velocity. This velocity is said to be the initial velocity. The person, this initial velocity म्हणजे पहिली velocity. आता जसं मी थांबलेलो आहे, माझी velocity काय आहे? 0. So initial velocity is denoted by u. Now after a certain time interval, it acquire a particular velocity and it get a certain another velocity is called as a final velocity. This is called as the final velocity, and this is denoted by capital V. Okay, capital V. Now tell me, if the person start from rest, then initial velocity will be 0 because it has no velocity. Okay, another case, and after certain time it required a particular velocity v. Okay, now therefore, if you can tell me, if this person is riding on a bike or car, and this person has a particular initial velocity u, त्याची स्वतःची particular स्वतःची velocity काय आहे? u. सुरुवातीची velocity u आहे, कारण की कार चालू आहे. And after that he increased its speed. If he increases speed and acquired a certain velocity v, here this person is not at a rest. जर हा पर्सन जर रेस्ट मध्ये असेल तर इनिशियल व्हॅल्यू 0 घेऊ शकतो आपण. बट नाव दिस पर्सन इज नॉट अ रेस्ट. दिस पर्सन इज इन अ मोशन. सो इट हॅज अ पर्टिक्युलर व्हेलॉसिटी. म्हणजे काय, एखादी गाडी चालू आहे आणि एखादी गाडी चालू असताना जर गाडी चालवत असताना स्पीड वाढवला तो दुसरा स्पीड म्हणजे इनिशियल स्पीड आहे आणि तो दुसरा जो फायनल असेल तो वेगळा स्पीड असेल. म्हणजे टाइम टू टाइम स्पीड काय होत राहते, चेंज होत राहते. टाइम टू टाइम स्पीड काय होत राहते, चेंज होत राहते. मग आता आपण इथं काय पाहिलं, आपल्याला इथं असं पाहायचं आहे की या ठिकाणी आपल्याला इनिशियल व्हेलॉसिटी यू आहे. इनिशियल व्हेलॉसिटी काय आहे, यू आहे. इट इज कॉल्ड इनिशियल व्हेलॉसिटी. It is called initial velocity and v is called as a final velocity. Is called as a final velocity. Okay. Now आता दोन velocity भेटले आपल्याला. Therefore, change in velocity, we want a change in velocity. Then what will be the change in velocity? The change in velocity will be given by final velocity म्हणजे higher velocity or final velocity, velocity minus initial velocity. Okay, what is the final velocity? Here, this is the final velocity is the v is the final velocity and u is the initial velocity. U minus v. Okay, u minus v. Therefore, the change in velocity, we get a delta. We can take a here v. Therefore, change in velocity v equals to v minus u. V minus u, final velocity minus initial velocity. Again we have time delta t. We have time delta t because from initial velocity, because at certain time t1 म्हणजे इनिशियल टाइमला त्याची व्हेलॉसिटी काय होती, u होती. आणि काही वेळानंतर t2 ला v2 झाली, v झाली. t2 ला काय झाली, v म्हणजे फायनल व्हेलॉसिटी v झाली त्याची. जेव्हा आपण काउंट केली तेव्हा v झाली. तर अशा केसमध्ये हा t2 झाला आणि हा v झाला. तर t1 ला किती होती, u आणि t2 ला किती होती, v. तर मग आपल्याला काय पाहिजे, टाइम t2 म्हणजे हे होती t2 ला आणि हा होता t1 ला. दिस इज अ t. ओके ओके, दिस इज अ टोटल टाइम t and we can consider this change in time is a t. चेंज इन टाइम आपण काय कन्सिडर करू, t कन्सिडर करू. नाव जसं आपण इनिशियली डिस्प्लेसमेंटचं पाहिलं होतं की चेंज इन व्हेलॉसिटीचं पाहिलं होतं, तर चेंज इन डिस्प्लेसमेंट अपॉन टाइम, change in time we get a velocity. Here we can take the change in velocity, change in velocity upon change in time. Okay, change in velocity upon change in time we get a acceleration. This is called as the acceleration and denoted by a. Denoted by a. Therefore, a equals to change in velocity v minus u upon small t. We will consider small t. This is a small t. Consider as a small t. Okay. Therefore, we get this equation. Now we can use this like a v. आपण याचं जर मल्टिप्लिकेशन केलं तर at याला मल्टिप्लाय करू at. Therefore, v minus u. V minus u. If we consider this side, if we take the right hand side to the left hand side, then we get a at. We can take u this side. Therefore, v equals to u plus at. This is one of the first kinematical equation. This is a kinematical equation. And here v is the final velocity, u is the initial velocity, and a is the acceleration, and t is the time. This is the first most important kinematical equation. With the help of this kinematical equation, we can calculate the final velocity, we can calculate the acceleration. If we have the initial velocity, time, and certain things, then we can calculate different values of velocity, initial velocity, final velocity, acceleration, and time. This is the first kinematical equation. How it is come? From initially we will start. तो एक कैसा हा आला कसा, सुरुवातीला आपण पाहिला की हे फर्स्ट पॉइंटला आपण पाहिला की पॉइंट ए टू पॉइंट बी, अ पर्सन इज मूविंग फ्रॉम पॉइंट ए टू पॉइंट बी, राइट, and it changes its position, means it changes displacement. Changes displacement means we got a displacement. Displacement कशी काढतो आपण, x2 minus x1 म्हणजे फायनल मायनस इनिशियल, ती कॅल्क्युलेट केली आपण. ओके, त्याला टाइम पण लागला ना, असं तर नाही आहे की बाबा त्याला तो चालून राहिला. तो इट टेक अ टाइम, इट टेक्स टाइम. मीन्स व्हेन अ पर्सन ट्रॅव्हल फ्रॉम पॉईंट ए टू पॉईंट बी, it takes a time, it takes a time, therefore it took the time, therefore this is a t is the time, therefore we got a velocity, a displacement and time. In next slide we have studied if the person is at a and at going to the point b, it changes displacement dt and it took time tt. Okay, dx is the displacement and dt is the time. Therefore we took the ratio, we took the ratio displacement upon time, and the displacement upon time we got the velocity, we got the velocity. If the unit of displacement is a centimeter and unit of time is a time, then unit of velocity is a centimeter per unit time or centimeter per time. Sorry, unit of displacement is a centimeter and time is a second, then centimeter upon centimeter per second. If the unit of displacement is a meter and unit of time is a second, then the unit of velocity is a meter per second, meter per second. Now we got a velocity. Second most and third most important term is a velocity. यहाँ पे हमने लिखा velocity. First was a displacement, second was a time, third was a velocity. Okay, now इथं पाहिला आपण. आणि velocityचे दोन, initial velocity and final velocity. Initial velocity, this is initial velocity. Suppose a person is at a rest, then initial velocity u equals to 0. If person is not at a rest, then we cannot take u as a 0. Person is in a motion, then we have to consider the value of u. We have to take the value of u. Okay, therefore this u is the initial velocity and v is the final velocity. Therefore we got two velocities, initial velocity and final velocity. Therefore if we can take the change of the velocity, then if we take the change of velocity means final velocity minus initial velocity, this is u minus v. Okay, now in third slide we have taken the change in velocity delta v, and also when the person changes velocity from point a to point b, point a to point b, it took a time or it takes a time, particular time. ओके, इट रिक्वायर्ड पर्टिक्युलर टाइम. म्हणजे जर माणूस जर एकापासून दुसऱ्यापर्यंत जात असेल तर व्हेलॉसिटी वाढवत असेल तर टाइम लागेल असं त्याला. देअरफॉर दिस टाइम रिक्वायर्ड टू चेंज व्हेलॉसिटी फ्रॉम इनिशियल टू फायनल, इट इज टी, इट इज द टी. इफ यू टेक द रेशियो ऑफ velocity, change in velocity upon change in time, then you get this equation u minus v upon t. Okay, by using this and by calculating or taking this into the left hand side, and at equals to v minus u,